This is Chiii Jackson, the baby brand. I'm here with WMPR 98.1. I have to say happy birthday to Pearlean. Also, like to say a shout out to RCC also. Like to say hello to you guys. And just want you to know this was a lot of pop ups the baby brand is going to be doing here in the historical WMPR 90.1. As you can actually see, a lot of the different things that are going on here. This is a lot of the different celebrities and stuff of that nature that has been taking place. Since I get ready to go into the studio, I just want to bring everybody this morning. Good morning. As a blogger, just trying to get everyone situated here in the actual studio as we get it set up. But today is Pearlean's birthday. She's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How you doing? To Michelle, to Bridget, also to Hope Treasure Chest, which is this the month of August. We are celebrating with Black women owners and stuff. That's actually into management. So I woke up on a Saturday, and as I told you guys to bring it to here, just definitely just bring it back in. And we have the lady right this as George. She's in the things for a long time singing. And just being here at the WMPR 90.1, the historical black radio station. You can actually see the WMPR 90.1 Jackson, Mississippi. So the legendary here, the producers getting everything set up, but we just wanted to just talk about a variety of things. And I just wanted to give an hour shout out to everyone, to my family that's in Memphis, Tennessee. Go get this to Reverend Slam. We all made history here at this radio station. Also, just wanted people to know you can hear that they actually giving a break in. And just so excited. So many things that God is doing now in the life. And just going, just like, just so much going on. Also, shout out to, um, I said my family, to Connie Newhouse. I call her Pop. People that have been in my life, to Mary Jones. Also, to all of my friends and stuff at the hospital that I work at. You know, there's just a lot of things that's going on. But today is definitely going to be just showing love to the birthday celebration, as we can see. So behind the scenes of WMPR, just get everything set up, and I'm just so excited to be a part of what is going on and the different things we're going to talk about. Just bring it, get the feet set up. Okay, so they're getting everything together. So I'm behind the scenes, just like get ready. But being on the air, I started in 2021, May the 7th. I started my own business, which is called the Baby House. And basically, we're just getting spiritual support to those during the COVID pandemic. From there, I came to WNPR 91 to basically to start to get advertisement for the business. So that's how I became here and met up with Sherry Jones. And basically, that's the history behind how I got on the radio and started. To anybody that's been on radio and you doing marketing, it's like $1,000 per show. So basically, doing like a lot of pop ups and things of that nature. But make a transition to leave Mississippi and to go down to the Atlanta market. The business is already there. So in May, it was like February the 2nd, not February the 14th, 2022. The next following couple of months later, you have Baby and a corporation, in which it was built upon the nonprofit and bringing in like the bank of the business and being able to do more in the community, such as like we did the sock drive for many years. So it's been a blessing to see how the business has grown. And so he's been in Georgia since February of this year. So 6 months later, still doing a lot of the nonprofit, still getting back to the community and still uh, waiting. So I'm going to be quiet and get to see what's live, what's going on. You hear? Oh, good. Don't know about that. Yeah, right.
No can do. All right. We got a lot going on, but I can't go for that. Good afternoon, Dr. Pat.
Good afternoon, Sherry. Happy Saturday.
I'm talking about it is Saturday. High noon in the city, they said. We was cowboys. It showed out. Miss Jackson, welcome back.
Thank you for
Drop
having me
in,
here.
pop in when you get ready. Do what you want to do. Act that way you want to act. Dr. Payne, back in the day, she had her own show here on Saturday. Had it hot and popping. Like, introduce yourself, Dr. Nanetta Payne, and then Miss Jackson. Would you introduce yourself?
Yay. Happy Saturday, everyone. I am the Dr. Lynetta Payne. I am your mind doctor, licensed clinical psychologist, minister of spiritual consciousness. Again, it feels good to be back in the seat. Feels good to be back on the air, being of service. And, it's always good to hang out with Sherry because Sherry and I have so much fun on the mic. So looking forward to see what God has for us today.
Hi, my name is Chiii Jackson, and I'm glad to finally get a chance to meet you, Doc. I have heard a lot about you, a lot of nice things about you, so definitely hearing. And as you say, I'm like in transition of moving from Mississippi to Georgia, so it's definitely been popping in, popping out, but it is really good. It is really good.
Wonderful.
As he say, I started a year ago, had a show here this same at WMPR 90.1. Decided licensed chaplain to go in business for myself, being here in Mississippi during the pandemic. So 3.5 years later, so Bennett decided to take it to the radio, offering spiritual support and talking about different varieties of issues and different things that people here in the Jackson and surrounding counties that they were going through. So it's definitely a blessing to be back.
Wonderful. You're chaplain.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How you doing, Sherry?
Yeah, did all the
All
seminary training and all the good things. And today, one of my fellow chaplains, her name is Pearlean. This is her birthday. She's a chief chaplain, and they're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So shout out to RCC Tulsa. So they definitely surprised. I'm happy. I told him a lot about Sherry, but he don't like being on the air.
So nice.
Doc, give us a little bit of background about your ministry, if you will.
Oh wow, Sherry. I tell you what, I tend to think that I am a minister of love, and that looks
Can I put you?
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like to see myself as a minister of love and someone here who is to be a vessel of love and light. I am amongst many million of light workers And that has looked many different ways over my career. As I stated, last week on the air, boy, I've had a beautiful opportunity to serve in, hospital settings and school settings, in, detention centers, prisons, in private practice. So I have worked with all types of people along the journey and transitions of life. And, there are some commonalities. There are some things that I have discovered are the same with all people. We all are on the bus, we all take hits. And most of the times, those big hits come from childhood. And we spend most of our journey trying to recover. And so I am just so excited that the God of my understanding has chosen me while I continue to do my work to walk a couple steps ahead of people, and maybe I can be of some support in regards to what I have learned. So it just, you know, people ask me, Doc, how can you do the work that you do? And I always say, I think first and foremost, it starts with what I believe spiritually. I do believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Uh, and I do believe that the journey for all of us, I don't care what it looks like on the outside, I don't care what people are wearing, I don't care if a person is incarcerated and somebody else is on the other side.
I'm going to love this show. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. I'm going to enjoy this.
It doesn't matter what side of the bars that we're on. Make no mistake, at some point in each and every person's life, there is an experience of imprisonment of the mind. And so I just continue to be the messenger of love, sprinkling more and more of that. I always say, my sister, Miss Jackson, for me, it's checkers. It ain't chess. It's simple. But unfortunately,
break it down again. I love that scenario.
Yes.
I love it. Just say it one more time for me.
I do. It's checkers. It's not chess, and we make it complicated. We make our lives more complicated than it has to be. There are some spiritual principles. There are some universal laws that are the same, and when we live according to those spiritual principles, regardless of denomination, and those universal laws, then we tend to move forward along our journey with more grace and more gentleness and more kindness and love for ourselves. And so, that's, I'm still excited about it. Again, I put the God of my understanding first. And second, Sherry, you know this, I take very good care of myself, right?
God, just show up and show out.
I know. I take
show up and show out this morning. I am so glad I'm even on, not that I have a problem with time, but I am so happy that I don't know what, I'm beside myself. Sherry, you really outdone yourself this time. And the reason why I say that, because you understand it. I'm just listening to you. I'm like, man, we on the same level. She gets it. She understands it.
Yeah. Well, I really do believe that, everything is energy. And Sherry, we talked about it last time. I've gotten to a place in life, to be 25 and a half, years old, is that, when you stay on the journey a little while, you start to see some similarities. You start to see some things that keep showing up. Again, these are our life's lessons. And I believe that the angels, the ancestors, they want us to win, right? To the degree that we're paying attention, to the degree that we become more self-aware, paying attention to ourselves, right? Okay. So what's happening versus why did this happen to me? Okay, let's get curious. Okay.
Break it down, Doc.
Right?
Yes,
why is this happening to me? Right? So we come from a place of being a victim to a place of empowerment. So I think that's one of the, my sister, Miss Jackson, that's one of the things that I love about doing the work, is supporting people from coming from that place of being so wounded. Yes, we do hold the space, and now what you're going to do with it, right?
Yes.
God didn't bring you here just to bring you here, okay? So what you going to do with it? you're gonna take that, right, and allow it to be used, right? Allow it to be used to support other people, right? As you move forward, again, paying it forward. So the work for me is to a big degree about taking everything that I've learned, right, and allowing it to support my brothers and sisters as we continue to hold hands and move forward. So I get excited about it. So
I have a question. I'm
yes,
becoming curious because one of the biggest questions that I have learned is when you're out doing the work, what do you do for self-care?
oh wow,
What do you do for self-care? Because it's like we pour out in this line of work out to many people. And what do you do for self-care
oh I think
to
that's a
fill your cup back up?
absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I take 2 hours, right? 2 hours of my day, and I'm talking about 7 days a week, a little bit more on the weekends, but 2 hours a day just for me. And in that time, it includes some meditation, reading, reflection, just being in stillness, in the company of the God of my understanding. But 2 hours of every day, that's mine.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the day is in service to others. And every time, confess, every time, right, I cheat myself. I don't honor that commitment to myself, it shows up, right?
How does it show up?
Good question. Okay. I find that I'm more reactive versus responsive, you know, more anxious, and feeling more overwhelmed. And I get to the point now that, every now and then, right, it happens. And then what I do is I forgive myself, okay? Because you gotta forgive yourself. This is not about beating self up, right? It's like I'm aware, right? I betrayed myself because every time I do not honor a commitment to myself, that is still betrayal. Because oftentimes we think that, we get mad at our partners, right? You told the story, right? You betrayed me. But also, how many times do we do that to ourselves and think it's okay? I think that's a bit hypocritical. So 2 hours out of every day, that time includes meditation, reflection, study, um, stillness, right? And just being gentle.
And how important is that to have that? Because a lot of people, working in this field, for me, honestly, Sherry can vouch for like when you start starting your own business, because you said you had your own private practice. I'm not gonna cry because it's like Yahweh has really this day blessed me to have meet someone that understands, especially being I felt isolated being here being in Mississippi, because when your gifting is different, because we all have different types of gifts and how we approach everyone and everything. How important is it being in this line of work it is to not cheat yourself or allow people forget that you're human, that you have a human nature?
Oh, I love it. And because this is the thing, at least this is what I have discovered, is, people treat you the way they treat themselves, okay? And the way you teach them, okay? So oftentimes, people get upset if somebody reacts to them a certain way. I'll give you an example. So I get to um, work during this time of my season. I do some work at a maximum security, pretty much all male prison. Okay. In that environment, if anybody's ever worked in corrections, they know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And particularly in mental health, right? And because, right, there can be so much darkness, right? And the dark is always looking for the light. Okay. And so if I am not caring for myself, right, then guess what? I am unable to be of service to them. And so one time there was something going on. There was a code, and you work in an environment like that. There can be codes quite often, right? And a code of quote, something's emerging. And so people coming and going, and somebody grabbing me. And I check the clock because what I try to do is, make sure that I have a window of when I'm going to eat lunch, right? That's non-negotiable. Okay, I need fuel. And so this officer, she comes to me, and I sense she respects me as I respect her. She says, Doc, I need you to come down here. And I look at her, right? Because I'm checking in with my body, and my body is saying, you're getting ready to pass the window when it's time for you to care for yourself. And I just politely looked back at her. I said, okay. I said, is it an emergency? She said, no, but he really needs somebody to talk to. I said, I tell you what, as soon as I go eat lunch, he will be the next person that I meet. And she looks at me like, really? Because the culture of that environment is constantly reacting to crisis, right? So in that moment, it was a teaching opportunity for her. Like, well, okay, well, maybe I can do that sometimes, right? There's no such thing as anything as a crisis in such, right? That means that we dismiss ourselves and dishonor ourselves. So I'm really an advocate for that, Ms. Jackson. And the team that I get to work with, reminding them too, how are you caring for yourself? What does that look like? And it changes, right? But it requires constantly checking in with yourself. What do I need in this moment? Maybe I just need to sit down for 5 minutes.
Amen. You know where I'm going with this at? It's like you're making those that eat meat oxtails, those that don't, that's a vegan, you having your good yogurt and all that good stuff. This is what you're saying is leading up to, because one of the things that I've asked this question a thousand times, like where for the black male. And the reason why I asked is because I have experienced that mental health in the Black community is really not, a lot of people don't believe in going, or they don't understand that they need to check, like you said, check in with themselves, get some help. So what would you say to the community, how important it is to, how you speak, you do a lot of self-care within yourself, but they also need to check in with themselves.
Absolutely. And I think there's opportunity for us as women to continue to hold and create that space where men can be vulnerable. Because on one end, right, we want our men to
I'm loving this. I gotta take a water break.
Right.
Being be vulnerable. Right. Is there anything? I can stay in that moment.
Okay.
What's wrong with a male now? Is there anything wrong with a man being vulnerable, showing his emotion?
Absolutely not. Right? Mm-hmm. And society teaches, right, men, starting with being within family, the context of what a man is supposed to look like, what he's supposed to do, what he's supposed to say, his posture, so forth, right? So we can look at Sherry right now, right?
Yep.
And I'll use him, right? Yeah, because I've been knowing him for many, many years, right?
Okay.
This is what I gather. Share, can I share? Okay. From looking at Sherry on the outside, you would think that this man is emotionless.
Praise God.
Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna say but, and because I have worked with him, worked side by side with him, I know him, aka I know his heart, right? Sherry, my experience, my professional experience with him, right? His heart, right? It's there's an innocence about it. There's a passion about it. There's a love for this city, for this world, right? That many women don't have, right? However, that's why I always offer women is just to go deeper, right? We got to create a safe space for our men. Yes, there are things that they get to do, right? And, right, there are probably more women that are listening to me right now. And we often talk about what's wrong with our men, right?
Yeah.
But I challenge us, right, to start from a place of the cup is half full, right? What's right about it, right? In the midst of everything that's going on. And this is what I teach my guys, at the facility, because when they get there, right, they're in a space of vulnerability. Yeah. Right. Everybody knows their quote business, right? Yes. They know their crime. They think they know them. Right? So there is more of a sense of openness, to receive. However, out here, they gotta put their shirt, their tie on, and so forth. So, my challenge is for us as women, that when they do come home to us, whether it be sons, nephews, right, brothers, or partners, right, that we get to learn, right, how to be with them, how to create the safe space, right? I'm not talking about creating a space of enabling them, right?
Yes.
But to create a safe space for them, so that they can begin to open up and open their hearts. And then because when we're at that place, right? Because whatever we see, whatever we expect, that's what we're gonna see, right? So coming from a place of the cup is full, right? And I tell my guys, yeah, you've made mistakes, but guess what? Everyone has.
Yes. No one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect, and yet we're all perfect, right? We're not perfect, and yet we are. And there's a text in the Course in Miracles that says that all of God's children are special, and none of us are.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, get over yourself, Doc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you experienced some stuff. Okay, now get over it. What you gonna do about it? Right? How is there something in this that I can fix? How can I grow? How can I use it to move forward? Again, failing doesn't mean you fall backwards, but are you failing forward? What are you learning?
It's like getting into the ground and tilling your soil. Getting your hands dirty and feeling the moisture of the soil, and just sometimes you have to bring the soil to your face and just actually just breathe it in and feel it, because it's just, we go deep with it. This is beautiful. It is beautiful all in it, because a lot of people do not understand how spiritually it is good to heal and to get in contact with yourself.
And Miss Jackson, you know what?
Yes, ma'am.
Even when they don't think they're healing, they on the journey, right? They may not be consciously aware, and they may not want to use that word, but guess what? Right? The transformation is happening, right? And to the degree that they're paying attention, that we're all paying attention, I think we learn our lessons more quickly.
I want to let you guys know about this book. It's by author Ralph. Oh, okay. Well, I'll be getting to the moment of everything. I am such obliged to be, because that's one of the things. I like Brene Brown. Yeah, I had a chance to meet her when I worked at I was a resident at the VA hospital in Dallas, Texas. And she always say that we're in the trenches. Sometimes you have to get in the trenches with people, and you have to really, in order to understand their experiences and understand where they're coming from. So it made me to identify myself and how I stopped telling people. I said, I don't like to get in the pulpit and preach. That's not who I am. I wasn't raised in no traditional church, so I said my approach to people is just actively listening to them. And so when I meet people, I psychoanalyze them all the time. Like when I was on Facebook and I was getting started, I was happy that I was like, I'm here before time. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go to a 30-minute break in just a moment here. We have what's your name again?
Dr. Nanetta Payne.
Ms. Dr. Payne in the house today, and also with me, Chiii Jackson. And I'm here with Sherry Jones at WMPR 90.1. So today here we have a book here by author Ralph. Not again. That's not Ralph Jackson.
There's a knob on the box over there on the right, there's a bar knob on the right. Turn this to the other. It's just a book. When I come back.
Oh, okay.
Got a hand up.
Oh, yeah. It's right here.
Got a hand up.
This is not my thing.
I love it. Share. Do you know this author? You just this author? You just trying to fight?
No, yeah, this is the conversation.
Oh,
And the name of the show is gonna be the truth. The truth. That's what we're gonna start dealing with. The truth. The truth. If you wanna know the truth or not. If you don't wanna know the truth, change it back. You need another water, Doc?
Let the fire calling me in there. Here.
Why you got your hand covered? What's wrong?
Oh, just Doc. I know you all. You say you gonna get a thrown out.
We got another station you're
You gonna get a thrown out, Sherry. Oh man. Because we have a leg. I can be doing. Welcome back. Jackson, Mississippi, Hinds County, Rankin County, the surrounding counties. Call in 601-948-5950. Here with your girl, Chiii Jackson and Dr. Payne on the airways today. The show is called The Truth. Now, for this next 30 minutes, we have a question I want to say to the men and women of Jackson. Please do not call in. You know that your girl Chiii is on the mic. The subject is marriage for white people? How the African-American marriage decline affects everyone, by the author Ralph Richard Banks. Again, Doc, what do you think about this? Is marriage for white people? Yes, I am not a racist. I just want to know. Go ahead, Sherry, break it down to us.
Look, I was up early this morning, and then I said, well, we're going to have this conversation. I know we're not going to finish it today, but it's absolutely serious. Not going to do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, Mike, give me a call. Yeah, because I'm working. She out here trying to play cute and being faithful and get some likes.
Not for no likes. This is the platform.
Okay, hold on. Slow down. Y'all had 30 minutes, right?
Go ahead. So it's marriage for white people?
This next 30 is going to be on me. My pastor started talking about this on Wednesday morning, Pastor Charlie Clark. And it's a book out by the state auditor. And within that book is a lot of information that could help the Black community. We got another book out, and I get it before we go off, but it talks about transferring wealth. Beautiful sister, she's actually in Atlanta. So anytime I am on radio moving forward, I want to be having conversations, Doc and Chaplain, where our people can take something from there and begin to apply it to their lives, because people are hurting.
It's shy. You can drop the Chaplain.
They suffer. All right. But I didn't understand this issue in our community until my pastor was reading the book by the state auditor about the welfare scandal and how welfare was set up and structured, but it also was designed to keep the Black man out of the home. And it got our Black sisters into the mindset that either I get welfare or I can't have a husband, a man, or whatever. But then you have this relationships where you got babies being born and created in lives, but you don't have the marriage structure. And his numbers was back in the 50s, you had as many white women and Black women, their marriages was equally. Where you don't find that in 2024. And I'm telling you, we're gonna just put it out there today, but we're gonna start this conversation, Doc, and I'm gonna lean on you, because I love the way you just deliver the truth. And then in the community, that's why we're gonna name this show The Truth, because we don't want to hear the truth in 2024. Many of us are living in a fantasy world. Our young people, and I know from experienced people, I know from this morning getting up, going, get my grandbaby, shaking them to get out the bed, and they mad to cut the lawn, to cut the grass. I done purchased a lawnmower for you to cut the grass. All right. So my point is, when you have young males that's being raised in a home, in a house, by a single mother, and that's what my pastor is doing. He's unfolding. He's pulling the layers back on this issue about why Dr. Payne is seeing what she's seeing, where she's seeing it. And we got to connect these dots because it's a reason why she's serving a population that she's serving, and then they're not going to be locked up there forever. Mm-hmm. Trust me now, she's talking to some young men there. They call them returning citizens. They're going to come back to your community.
Reintegrating them back into society.
And then we as people, we enjoy ourselves on Sunday mornings. We religious and we praying and we calling them. And I'm just be honest with you all. Some of us talking to ourselves. All right. But now on this issue of the African American marriage decline, where you don't see people going on dates anymore. I see, my nieces that I see on Facebook posting, I see them traveling with women. They rolling in the posses. 6, 7 women. They go into the Caribbean. They're women.
Is anything wrong?
No, hold up. I see
where you going. Controversial.
No, you call it controversial. I'm trying to get down to the truth.
Well, what is the truth?
I'm going to ask Doc to help us. She's seeing.
Come on, Doc. What's the truth now? I want to get into the meat
She's
of it.
seeing incarceration.
Uh-huh.
But we're living in a time where we got to assess where we are as a people. Mm-hmm. And then we need a healing plan. We need a prescription. You go to the doctor and he said you got cancer, you got radiation, you got chemo, you got surgery. Those are 3 options. So when we assess the Black community, the African American community, when we look at where we are in 2024, we need an assessment done. We need a diagnosis done. And then we need a prescription. Because what I'm seeing, Ms. Jackson, what I'm seeing, Dr. Payne, as recently as this week, where a young lady, beautiful young lady, now is in a facility because something happened and the pressure was too much. Mm. School starting back. Little cliques in the school. Y'all got them up there in the what they call the MDOC. You got to be a part of the little clique for the protection. You got to be, we got a lot going on. But let's just start on this particular topic. And I really want to be honest because you got so many issues now that exist. Why the Black woman is not in a working relationship, why she don't move from a relationship to marriage. And we're going to look, I said it again, we're 20 minutes before we get off the air. We're going to put it out here today. Oh, sure. If Doc got to do some research, hold up, Shy, hold up now. I'm saying again, I'm saying, y'all, we're going to divide our program. That's your, you run your section, I'm going to run mine.
Go ahead. Okay. I'm all in.
Dr. Payne.
I tell you, Sherry, this is very yum, and I tend to look at it as yum. I think all 3 of us are very passionate about service as it relates to healing, whatever we want to call it, transformation. I guess because I see it so much, and I've been in the quote trenches for so long, not just with the guys in the quote facility, but also in the trenches, in the minds and the hearts of people out here with suits and pretty dresses on and nice heels and are suffering. So Sherry, I think where we are, there's tremendous opportunity. It just depends upon how we look at it. Okay, for me, it's tremendous opportunity. Okay, it's clear, right, that we're off track. Okay, and all of us have contributed to the culture in which our children live, period. We all have. So we all get to take responsibility. Responsibility is different from blame, okay? I'm not going to take the blame, but I am going to take responsibility. Therefore, I get to respond to the needs that are before me within my community. And it's one of the reasons, Sherry, why I decided to come back to the mic.
Okay.
You know, it's easy, right, to get into your own little world, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Get into your little nice little car, go to your nice little house and your nice little world. However, you know, all of us are ministers of God. You know, I heard the calling, okay? It's time for you to get back out in the public, not for any type of ego personal gain, right? And God continues to care for all of us, right? So that's going to happen, right? But, okay, what have I learned since the last time I was in this space here, right? What have I learned personally and professionally, right? So we all get to respond from the place of our own divine gifts and talents to be used as beacons of light, right? It is not my job, right? I meet these guys where they are, right? Because if you meet them where they are, create a space, right, of compassion, unforgiveness, right? I mean, forgiveness, right? Compassion, love. You can create a space of love. You don't have to say you love them, right? Because there are people saying they love people, but they don't act like it, right? So you create the space, create a safe space, right? It's not my job to judge you, right? And the Holy Spirit does the rest. Yes, I use tools. Yes, I use tools, right? And skills, and we all do it differently, right? For example, a man, I was watching Sherry as he was communicating with his grandson when I got here, right? And Sherry, like most men, have this firm tone that they speak to young boys, right? And I get it, right? It's calling his masculine energy forward, right? To rise up. So at that point, his posture changed, right? He stood up and he said, yeah, Grandpa, right? And I just smiled because I love that, right? Because I don't have that capacity, right? Yes, this young man may have a conversation with me and I can ask him to do something. However, I'm asking from a place of feminine energy, right? And so he responds differently to that. So for me, this is a call to action for all of us, men and women, to bring your A game to the table, to the streets, whether it be you do it from a standpoint of clergy, right? Psychology, right? If God gave you the gift to cook, right? When's the last time you cooked a meal for someone? Right? And didn't have to air it on the, and let everybody know. Just
take a picture of it and put it on the social media platform.
And that's okay. It's okay if you do that. And it's okay.
Be consistent with it. Be consistent. Be consistent with it.
But look, all right, look, Miss Jackson.
Yes, sir.
The last time you were on there, you were sitting here. I was running the board. And you had two young men in the room with you.
Yes.
And then you turn around and ask this question, and they look like they were deer in headlights. Do you remember what the question was?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Where are the real men at?
Say it again now.
Where are the real men at? Are you a real male?
And you was in the room with two men.
Yes.
And Dr. Payne, they couldn't respond.
And the reason why I asked that question is because when nowadays you're dealing with the Generation X, and it's not no more male and female. In the now generation, you're dealing with pansexuality, you're dealing with binary, and it's just so much that being in our line of work that you have to constantly research and being able to meet people where they're creating spaces and being able to know what you're dealing with. So in my field, that's what I actually, when dealing with clients and dealing with individuality, is just meeting people not only where they're at, but just asking them a question. Do you know who you are? Who's that person looking back at you in the mirror? Do you spend time with yourself? That's why I was asked questions like, what do you do to pour back into yourself? And they couldn't answer it.
And when I hear that, then that's an opportunity. So we see a gap, right? It's like doing a needs assessment, right? Okay, it's not making up what we think they need. It's asking those questions as you did from the space of non-judgment, from the space of curiosity.
Yes.
Right? Because when we become more curious with each other, right, then we'll begin to have more honest conversation. However, if at any point I feel that you're going to judge me, and this is everyone, right? This is Dr. Payne's truth. If I feel you're going to judge me, if I tell you my truth, then guess what's going to happen? Most of the time, male, female, doesn't matter about sexual orientation, right? You're going to withhold it, right? So it's about creating these safe spaces, right? So that men and women, again, not talking about sexual orientation, but talking from a standpoint of what do you really need, right? And in the work that we do is we know all of this stuff goes back to, you know, if I knew that you would really love me, if I told you this, right, would you still accept me, right? Yeah. You know, women, we're telling men to, oh, just be a man, or okay. Well, what if he says, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a real man. What is that? Right? Can he have the space to explore? Right? I really don't know.
Oh, I don't know how to love.
Right. Right. I know, Sherry, but
no, Sherry, you don't want to open the door. The truth gonna set you free.
One reason that marriages has declined is that Black women have advanced economically.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Agree. Okay. Absolutely.
Black men have fallen behind. Nearly twice as many Black women as Black men graduate from college. Are we still active?
That's right.
Okay. All right. So now, I'm an educated, doctoral degree Black woman. I see Mr. Jones coming up to repair whatever with the plumbing truck. Do I have a shot? Can I take you out on the date? What's with the silence?
You hit on it. And you know what? The truth is because I know plumbers do well for themselves, right?
I'm waiting though.
And the truth is, you know, if I was single, absolutely yes. However, this is the other part I want to share. What I discovered, Sherry, when I was single, is that there were many men, right, that could have approached me and they didn't.
Why not?
Because again, their own self-worth, their own self-doubt, right? And later they would say, I always, well, why did you
hold on, slow down. All right, now, in that case, and I have some strong Black women like yourself that I'm around. Miss Jackson, I got a list of like beautiful Black sisters. And if I was single back in the day, you know, I'd be making the move and I'd be busting the move trying to, okay. But they tell me, Mr. Jones, you know, we can't find a man that you're intimidated.
You want to take that one?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
Are you sure?
Please go ahead and handle it.
I think again, you know what I discovered, and for many.
Now I'm not talking about all, but
what you said, okay. Sherry, but I think that's a valid point. And I think, for example, I've been on online dating sites, right? And you know,
so you surfing to see if you can find somebody. Okay.
Well, the way I look at it, Sherry, is some of the real reputable online dating sites. It's a platform, right? To put yourself out there. For example, I'm not going to the clubs. I'm not going to the bars. So, and many of the men that I would meet, they would be patients, right? And I would date patients, right? So it's a platform where I put myself out there, right, with other people who are single, right? You get the opportunity to share a little bit about yourselves, right? It's again a platform for you to connect. But one of the things that I discovered is for me, our speaking gives us away. Yes. If a guy tells me, right up front, Miss Jackson, right? If he would say, well, I don't know, you never dated a doctor, and I may not be able to afford you. And he starts to talk about, he starts to play small,
Doubt himself.
right?
Yes.
I promise you,
Next.
just like that, right?
Next.
The attraction,
Gone.
it's gone, right? And what I discovered was it's nothing against him. I know the type of man that I needed, right?
Yes.
I needed a strong man because I can be an alpha female, right?
Yes.
And I'm pretty like out there, right? I'm tender and I'm gentle, but at the same time, so
We ain't got nothing.
Either married, in the that's how I ask those questions, Ben.
I done got in over my head.
The boys still single and refuse to give up. That's why I became
But let's
quiet.
go back because this is an absolute serious conversation. I'm telling you, I didn't realize that we really needed to have this conversation until I'm listening to my pastor break down this book. Okay, so now this agency, a government agency, then put something in place that is basically going to put into the mindset of a Black woman that you don't need a husband because you either get the husband or you get the benefits. So we find ourselves now where we didn't went past that. You just got Black women now, and I'm talking about the younger generation, and then you got your older sisters. They still may be seeking. But you got a lot of women now that they didn't just give up on having companionship. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the way I understand the Bible for us believers that everybody talking about the higher power and the level there, go back to the beginning. The reason Eve was created was because of what? He looked at me. Handy, will you please hush? I'm trying to do a show.
He's fathers and stuff. We don't have a couple minutes now.
He looked at, he said, Mr. Jones is lonely. Every other species had a mate, and he created the woman. See, I'm done. Just
go ahead. Now we go ahead.
All right. So my point is, people can play it whatever way they want to play it. But if you go back to the beginning, God knew that you needed a companion. Okay. And we get ready to close out. And because,
go ahead. Go on.
And because you can't find that companion now, then you're dealing with what Chiii is talking about. Well, you got binary, you got generary, you got the array, you got because people are trying to get to that.
Right. I think for me, Sherry, and I know we got to get out of here. And this is a great
No rush. Hold on, it is a rush. Hold on, nothing to worry.
Call you on the air.
Yes, I was along listening to y'all conversation. Y'all got a great conversation going on. And I feel sorry for the Black women thing today because you can't hardly find no good Black man that willing to give up and be a man. I'm going to tell you like it is.
Okay, hold on, no, Colin. Hold on. Don't run off the trail. Okay, now listen to what I said a few minutes ago. I just saw a man walking in the door. All right. I was at the gas station the other day, and I was getting ready to pump gas, and then I saw this brother walk out the gas station, and man, he just could put one foot before the other. All right. I looked at his clothes. I can tell that he's a construction worker. He's a mechanic. I've been a mechanic. And when he was walking to his truck, I said, now that's a hard working Black man. And I asked myself, hold on now. And I asked myself, I said, now, my question is, because I'm meeting the women that I'm in the room with now. My question was, would a Black woman, your normal Black woman today, would she date that young man? When he come home, hold on. When he come home, he dirty now. He greasy. He got work boots on. When he come home, with a bath water be ringing, with a meal be on the table. So don't say we don't have them, because I'm gonna call out some names. I know some Black men out here now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and yield to you, because I knew when we start this conversation,
and you're gonna wait till
we wasn't gonna finish it today. Go ahead, young man, with your last comment.
Days all my life, and from sun up to sundown, I be out to bed 3 o'clock every morning. I go to work. and I haven't sang them for a long time. But I just really can't, when you sit down, I get on the road singing quartet every weekend, and I come home and I work. But when it comes down to church, I find nobody one day, a hard-working man like me, you know. And I'm just being honest, you know. They rather run to the guys with the pants hanging off the behind, and a joint in their mouth. My dad didn't raise me like that. He raised me. He said, "You don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything."
Look, young man, look. Call me back next week. We're gonna be doing part 2 next week. Look. Thank you for calling in and helping me. Yes, sir.
601-948-5950.
All right.
And I'm getting ready. I just came out of woodworking, and I knew you got stuff, but I just came out of woodworking. I done test roads and things, and now I'm thinking, go get ready to hit the road and go things. And it's bad when you work all the week and can't pay somebody to come clean your house.
Look, I got your number. We're going to talk. Thank you so much. See what I'm saying? Y'all don't be telling me nothing about what's going on. Y'all get ready. Dr. Payne, get and the man. Oh, okay.
WMPR 90.1, The Truth, every Saturday from 12 to 1.
Look.
Coming to a show near you.
Some people may want to hear it, may not. I know what I'm talking about. I was up this morning, Doc, and I was going over to Brandon to get my grandboys up to get it, and I saw the sun coming up. And just like that young man validated when they come in, I said, every man need to be up in the morning. It's too much to do. All right. And then when you got hardworking black men, you got a mindset now in our community, they're gonna look at them now. That ain't all right. But then you know, we're gonna talk this issue out.
Well, I love you, Sherry. I can paraphrase it in regards to, for me, this conversation is about, healthy relationships, whether it's a healthy relationship with yourself or with people. I believe all of that begins with knowing yourself, right? Knowing who you are, as you stated, Ms. Jackson, knowing what your values are, knowing your triggers, and knowing what brings you joy. So I'm here to continue this conversation of everyone's personal truth, because again, everybody has their personal truth, lowercase t. Everybody's voice matters. And again, I'm excited to hear what the community has to say. And again, we talk about the issues, but we also talk about resolutions. How can we move forward and have one unified presence? And so I love conversations like this. It has been an absolute delight and joy being here with Sherry. And I got a chance to meet a new sister today, Ms. Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm so excited and so delighted. And I truly hope that our paths cross again, because
we're going to work. All right, Ms. Jackson.
WMPR 90.1, The Truth, every Saturday from 12 to 1.
And listeners, support WMPR 90.1. Do that by contacting us here at WMPR. Give me a call, 601